So now we're on to the main event. What's the main event, Bugs, you may ask? The main event is today we're going to watch how to carry inting and toxic teammates as a top laner. Which means for the rest of the night, I'm probably going to be playing top lane as I try to implement this guide.
Hey everyone. We all know those games where everyone on your team wants to surrender while they are inting and non-stop typing, and it feels like you should just FF and move on. If your teammate's typing is tilting you, you have to mute them and focus because these games are actually winnable, especially if you're fed. Today, I'm going to break down an example of this where I'm playing Wukong top versus Maokai. I get very fed, but my teammates don't stop inting and flaming, so the game is much harder than it needed to be. After this video, you should have a much better idea on the macro needed to carry these types of games. So let's jump right into it and catch you up with what has happened so far. I won lane, but I didn't get any solo kills. I just out-farmed and forced Maokai to TP back to lane and used my TP to grab a kill on the enemy Nami. I also got one kill from Lee Sin trying to gank me, and one kill from my Zac ganking. So I'm 3-1. From here though is when my teammates' mental starts to go downhill as they all die in mid lane 4 for 1. Now I'm heading to mid, not to try and get kills but to clear the wave so they can't take the tower. I know they don't have enough cooldowns to dive me under tower. The only way they kill me is if I int into them and get chain CC'd. But after clearing the wave, I walk out of vision and pay attention to this Ezreal's movement here. See how he's putting himself really close to the wall I'm at? That lets me know it's not warded and also means he's extremely out of position. He should be in the middle of the lane, so if I wanted to kill him, I would have to use both gap closers to get to him, my W and my E. But since he's so out of position, I only needed to use one of my gap closers to get him and pop Bork, then my second for his E. Then I turn on my ult to knock him up and finish him, then turn on the Nami and kill her as well since she's out of mana. I knew I could go for this play because I was tracking everyone in my head, which is something you should be doing all game. Maokai died in the fight, Ahri had no health so she recalled, and Lee Sin is bot lane. If they were all missing and could be here, I wouldn't go for a play like this. Alright, after that, I clear a few waves in mid, then recall to spend my gold. As I'm doing that, I see our Draven really overextended in bot lane and tries to contest the dragon alone. He should not be this far up obviously. I have TP though, would you TP right now? At this point, I don't want to TP because it looks like they would just kill Draven, then get away before my TP even finishes. But as soon as this happens, and Lee Sin doesn't kill him that fast and has to Q in this far, then I start channeling TP. I know if he commits this far, I should be able to catch him. After I TP in, he almost gets away with W and Ezreal heal, but I flash and finish him off for a 900 gold shutdown. Ezreal just used his E so he can't get away, and Nami has no mana so I'm going to focus her down quickly before turning on the Ezreal. Ahri joins the fight too, but she doesn't have charm and her ult ran out. My Conqueror is stacked, plus I have lifesteal from Bork, so I just auto her to death for the quadra kill. You would think my team would be able to tell I can easily carry them at this point, but they keep flaming each other and put up an FF vote, and it almost goes through. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, a sub to the channel would be incredible. But at this point, I'm pretty fed, but not fed enough to want to go headfirst into team fights. So instead, I'm going to side lane a bit, working on getting my death stance for my third item. This is kind of how top lane works. You need to make a judgment call when you're fed enough to team fight and when you can't. I'm afraid of getting chain CC'd right now and bursted down, so I want to farm a bit more. I know I can easily 1v1 the Maokai, so I'm trying to fight him up here while the enemy team focuses on the dragon. Like I said, I don't want a team fight, so I'm not going to head over to the dragon or TP in. It's not Soul Dragon, so I don't care about it. Instead, I act like I'm going over, which baits the Maokai into chasing me away from his tower, and then I jump him and he flashes over, so I flash to try and finish him, but he had too much CC, so we trade kills. He got more gold than I did here, so it's not exactly an even trade, but it's also not a big deal. It doesn't change much for him, but it got me my death stance. He still won't be able to 1v1 me in the side lane, and he won't carry the game, so I'm fine with this trade. My teammates weren't fine with it though, as they were flaming me. But as soon as I'm back up, I go back to top lane to collect some farm and keep pressuring. As I'm doing that, we can see 4 of the enemy team members near mid, and Irelia is trying to kill the Lee Sin. Obviously, this isn't a good call, and I don't want to TP into this with Zac recalling, so I just ping them off and keep pushing. At this point, this is really good for us because they only got 1 kill and I got a tower. So I keep pressuring until Ahri comes back for me. I would just dive her, but I don't know if she used her ult, and her Q cleared all the backline minions. At the same time, the enemy team is Herald pushing bot lane and killed my Draven, so I back off looking to recall. I go to recall here in case Ahri comes and face checks me, and I also thought the enemy team would back off after taking 1 tower bot, but I noticed they were still pushing, so I start recalling. Ahri does end up coming, but flashes over the wall, so I go back in the brush and start recalling again. As the enemy team is taking our base, Irelia is pushing mid, and Senna is running top since they all just want to lose, so they take one of our Nexus towers. But they're all pretty low and overextended now, so we chase them down, but we only end up getting the Maokai. Obviously that wasn't too good for us, but it could be worse. As long as Nexus isn't open, we're not in that bad of a spot. But after that, it's back to the same thing as before, pushing side lane, making sure to stay farmed. Dragon is coming up though, and this time I have Death's Dance, so I feel like I'm strong enough to carry the fight. As soon as Lee Sin jumps in here, I start channeling my TP. I don't really care that our Senna isn't here, she's barely in the game anyways. As long as Zac is here, I think we can win. I eat the Nami Bubble and Ahri Charm as soon as I finish the TP, and then Nami Wave and Maokai W on top of that. But because they used all their CC on me, Irelia actually ends up killing the Nami. Now I just focus who's in front of me for now, as I can't really dive while Maokai is chain CCing me and Ezreal's throwing Qs. Once we kill the Maokai, now I'm free to try and kill Ezreal. I use W to try and surprise him and do eventually kill him, but I die to Ahri in the process. I just needed to make sure to flash the Ahri Charm, and I did. This wins us the fight though, and we get the dragon as well. That's very good for us, not just because we got the dragon though. It's because whenever the enemy team has any of your inhibs and you win a fight, it's just great. They aren't getting any farm from the lane they have the inhib in, while your team can farm super minions the entire time. It lets you catch up a lot easier if they don't use the inhib pressure properly. But the game is still going to be kind of hard because we have zero vision of Baron after that, and our support refused a ward and is just farming mid, while our ADC tries to phase check it and dies. So I'm going to go in and check it now, because like I said, I really only need our Zac in the fight to be a CC bot and another body to eat skill shots. When I get there, I'm doing my best to get vision to see how low it is, but I can't really get too close. If I get CC'd and killed, we will lose. My second ward shows the Baron is only half health, so we're fine. We want to let the Baron shred their resistances and damage them more, then we can engage. My Zac has other plans though, and goes in right away. Let's test you real fast. Should I go in now, or should I wait a little bit? I want to go in right now because two big things just happened. Ezreal used E to get away from Zac, and Maokai used W on Zac. So Ezreal has no way of escaping, and they have no point-and-click CC to lock me down anymore. So I go in and focus Ezreal first, right away, getting the easy kill. After Ezreal is dead, they have nobody that can really kill me anymore, and the fight is basically won. I can just focus whoever is closest to me now. We kill 4 of them, and can take the Baron for free afterwards. So basically what happened was, the enemy team didn't know how to use Baron here. What they needed to do was, start Baron after picking the Draven, and as soon as we showed up, turn and go in. But they made the mistake so many players make and tried to do Baron with only one of us dead. With Baron doing damage and shredding resistances, and putting them in a position to be pincered by our engage, we wiped them really easily. That's why I didn't want to just give the Baron after Draven died. Baron is where most teams throw, especially if they don't have a Vayne or Kai'Sa to melt it fast enough. Anyways, after getting Baron, I'm going to push top, but I don't see anyone else on the map right now. Because of that, I have to back off until we see something or I'll just get collapsed on. Then, we see Lee Sin and Ezreal collapsing on Zac in mid, and Maokai starts TPing, so I figure I can just 1v1 him now. I go in, cancel his TP, and start chasing him down, but the enemy team actually ditched the fight in mid entirely and ran straight to top. I didn't even realize because that would never happen in high elo, but I die for it. When you're the carry, it's really bad to die like this, because then your teammates will definitely die as well most of the time, like this Draven. But the rest of the team survive until I'm up at least, so I can TP in and help them. And we get the mid inhibitor. After that, we head to Dragon, and Lee Sin pulls the classic low elo move of trying to face check the Dragon even though it's not soul and there's literally no way of him getting it. They have no vision, we have a ton of CC, it's never gonna happen. Please stop throwing games over Dragon, guys. It hurts my eyes watching this, it happens so often. But with that pick, we can go up and get top inhib, then move to bot inhib. If we get 3 inhibitors, we have 3 lanes of super minions, and the game is very hard to win for them. So I'm not trying to fight, and I'm just focusing on the inhibitors. Once we have all 3, the super minions pile in, and we easily end the game. Alright guys, so as you can see, even with teammates flaming and not trying while putting up surrender votes, if you don't tilt and stay focused, you can still win these games. It's low elo, players throw constantly. If you can punish mistakes from them, you turn the game quickly just like you saw here. By the way, you should know where our guides come from. Our hyper improvement platform SkillCapped is the #1 place to actually start improving at League of Legends. You can input your rank before signing up to see where we'll think you'll climb to. Then, if you don't hit that rank while actively using SkillCapped, you can claim a full refund. That's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. We offer this because our services really do work, and if it doesn't, then you shouldn't pay for it. Check us out right after this. That's going to bring us to the end of this one. We hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
I feel like that was less of a video about how to carry inting and toxic teammates as a top laner than it was a watch this one game that I played and I'll explain why I won.